originally, we have been calling this Beat Corner.
This is the last year of that.
But this is the last year we're doing that because of a conversation we had with Aggie, who said, you know, you really shouldn't do that. The beat was a very specific time in history. And there is a whole field of poetry and a whole field of culture that belongs to that time. And you really need something else because now there's this whole new crop of poets, people like Scott and the Coit Tower,
Andrew,
Society, and so we are now to not date ourselves. We're going to simply call what goes on here now the Avant Garden.
Yeah. Cheers, bravo. Let's light a candle to the 9 years.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
So we had to really make some noise today.
Yeah, I agree.
Acoustic noise.
That is mine so near to the heart as an eternal pasture unfolded in thought. So that there is a hall therein that is a made place, created by light, where from the shadows that our forms fall. Wherefrom fall all architectures I am. I say are likenesses of the first beloved. Whose flowers are flames lit to the lady. She is it, queen under the hill. Whose hosts are a disturbance of words within words that is a field unfolded. Source of the sun, and an hour before the sun's going down, whose secret we see in children's game of ring around the roses told. Often I am permitted to return to this meadow as if it were a given property of the mind.
A certain bound holds against chaos that is a place of first permission, everlasting omen of what is. As often I am permitted to return to a meadow by Robert Duncan. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Conifer Lawn, to the Avant Garden, as it is called. My name is Scott Byrd. I'll be your host today. We couldn't have asked for better weather today. The poetry gods are smiling on us all today. We're here to bring you some poems, some music on this fine day. I'm very, very pleased. We're still waiting on one poet, and we're already on poetry time, so like give or take 30%. He should be here momentarily. But I'm very, very pleased to be sharing this space with the four poets that are with us today, as to me they constitute a different class of poets of their own generation. And I don't just say that because they're my comrades, but I think that the work speaks for itself. And I should like to illuminate that for you now by just reading some of their work as a means of introduction.
This is called At This Desk. And I happen to know that the desk belonged to a poet you might have heard of. He enjoyed some popularity in the 50s and 60s. His name, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. You might know of him.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of him? No? Anybody clap if you've heard Ferlinghetti? No, this is a poem by one of the poets this afternoon. It's called At This Desk. I cover myself in fire. Throats emerge from my eyelids, recording the sound of sight coming down. I measure a man with toothpick and hammer. No recourse at this time towards retribution. Silence is nullified by the incoming traveler. I am dusk seeking lamb, a measure of man most morbid, ego fratricide and cold egg sandwich. I am, if I choose to see it that way, miracle fingers dig out morning. Each ray of sunlight is a raven's wing. Mystery dances above earthen mishap, autodidact era of loneliness. I hide my trembling in Grant Avenue sewer drains. Oh, what secrets lay in the plumbing. Wood envelops mythical magnanimity, hollow white house phone numbers, secret treasure maps to Bixby Canyon, high priests on his visionary bullshit, chain smoking the night hysterical, death to the state, river veins of malice, Polaroid menus of heavenly hereafter. You will find country wine beneath the embers, tape-recorded confessions, if only we could prove their countenance, Greek squid pterodactyls and polio dreams, polio poems, wheat pasted on Minotaur's backpack. I am old rules and Italian sunsets, intercontinental bridges connecting astral planes with Icarus. At this desk, I'm ecstatic love, songs to the Cafe Cabiria. That's Andrew Paul Nelson. Give him a hand. Andrew and I collectively and some of the other poets constitute the Coit Tower Poetry Club. And it's our tradition at the Coit Tower Poetry Club to read poems from poets that inspired us, poets that have come before us. So I've asked the poets to bring their inspirations along with them, so you'll hear a smattering of different things. As I said, these poets that are joining us today are some of my favorites, and this poem really, I think it's outstanding. It's called The World's Put on Me. It's for Catherine L. Pringle. When we were young, imagining sequins, stereo air in fragmented emissions, we heard our mother's muscle memory, phantom radio of something real. Your dreams tomorrow night portal the overwhelm so differently. Maybe now more acutely this flight, this past year has been something. This may be a conversation about changing things that did not pan out. We were never that young now, I think. It's been for the best. We have so much to answer for. The constant, the other heart, so much we can't touch. Solace in Aretha Franklin, madness underneath my skin. God, the truth is we are the kings and queens of love. We made it this far, pushing down restless lungs. Jukebox, the ghost spirit language. If I could tell you about that sun on my face, the strawberry patch I can no longer find, God is in the good old deck until we're so blowing it up. And it's so fucking nice to sit in a room and be reminded how sometimes the cry isn't sad. Baby, I'm so deep now. My black paintings and my white paintings comfort me, put me in touch with the unknown. You are very relaxed, very tranquil. You sleep so you can speak to me. You answer my question about Negro sunshine, the erratic course of firecrackers, yellow on yellow, votive offerings. We are going to overflow all of this precious making. Come down on me, little delight. We take in breath, heave it out together, echoes in the aviary, the fragility of happiness the whole damn year. That's Erica Lewis. Give her a hand. Kick down great highway for the birds. Kick down great highway, people leaned up on bird waste, looking at seagulls, see things, say to the gulls, what have you found out there in the ocean? Skip down great highway, beg you gulls, you there. Gulls who speak beyond the horizon, what does your gull beak see? The sea does not change, knows not with you reason the trees and hair are Poe and parts Baudelaire. Lump down, great highway, lump down, you're obsessed with the sea. I prefer gulls to slump down steering wheels honking at Crow's great highway, at Gull's great highway, at Pervert's or Prevert's great highway, great highway's great highway. Bobby Sands starves to death on a sand dune's great highway. This is Jack Nancy. Some lies and a truth. In the womb, in a bed, on the grass, I turn over. I don't know what will become of my body after death. I've never been able to prove I have a soul. I weigh the same on Sunday as I weigh thrusting atop a lover. In the Mission, in North Beach, and south of Market too. What more could I want from life than transformation? One patient breath in, another patient breath out. To be the dust kicked up by sneakers, puffs of smoke in Mission Dolores Park exhales. I'm nothing except my mother's love and will made flesh, silent, recognizing a poem. Survival is just another kind of sunrise. What is this Thursday evening but a full drink of water? Reminding me my body is just my body, not my being. I must believe this because there are children hiding, using blood from their classmates' small chests. The fear of dying must only be a worry of exile. This patch of grass, once a wish skipped across a river, whose skinny mouth emptied into the bay. Kevin Dublin.
I dreamed I saw the sunrise, blue and inevitable, a funeral parade of spiders, dawn backsliding towards freedom or oblivion. You awoke the cartographer's graveyard, sand dune panopticon of was where dreams go to die. Eternal spring erupted and all your love, all your precious will and indifference melted like Icarus's magnificent cabinets. And we were poets. We caught the dawn like it cured cancer. Like the sunrise was building a case against us if only we could arrive at our day in court a little early or even just on time. We might be acquitted at the last moment of this nihilistic greed that defines our generation. We sucked the poison from every seemingly insignificant snake bite. And we were poets. We believed in nothing but each other and the taxi cab roulette of apathy that defines this generation. And we were poets. It was just as easy to dream as it was impossible to sleep. If only our lungs didn't lack the capacity to grieve. We still know every midnight lullaby by heart. We still drink like trout fish. What was left of our will to create vanished long ago under the weight of debauchery reruns and apocalyptic boredom. And now we are asleep. Even when we are awake, our phantasms on mute. Zombie and amorous perform their immortal rituals to an abyss of empty rooftops. And yet, I dreamed last night of a symposium of sunrise poets. A future ad-libbed, or we are born brand new every morning, rubbing sticky afterbirth from our eyes. Blindly stumbling to the timbre desk to retrieve a rusty pair of our father's scissors, only to find we have no idea how to use them. Not easily defeated, we bite, claw, chew through the umbilical cords ourselves. This chain of events inaugurates each and every day. We are brand new strangers to ourselves. Every morning we are suicidal saints. A miracle leftover sunrise reaching backwards. A nobody. Until the smell of coffee. Until the purple sky. Until I recall this poem from my unborn dreams. Can you guys play something like we're on an airplane and we don't know if it's ever gonna land? I had a hunch. This is a book I'm obsessed with by Angel Dominguez. It's called Black Lavender Milk. It's currently out of print. Good luck finding one. I write the book before falling apart. I fall with the pages. I sway with the dirt. I coddle the failure until it become a bird, until it crashes in a field, until it become erased, until it becomes until. The sentences are creaking with the way they hold water, the weight dispersed between the book and the body holding the book. I build a tension to let go. I forget how we approach writing and start with what's missing. I get lost and tell no one. I let the book sink until it's another form of emptiness. I'm more interested in its lack. The scene erodes with violet fragility. I soak in a bath of rose petals. The water goes from pink to dark bruise. I lose track of the continent that I'm writing in. I forget the frame of the novel. The language grows wild. I give up haunting all my failures. I work them into my skin like a poem. I burn the book so many times. The manuscript exists as a form of condensation. The sky opens up and pours out a book you'll never read. I wish I could still speak it. I wish I could remember what we say. Every yesterday piles itself into a dendritic agate pose. In repose, the novel writes itself into my sleep. I dream of many airports, but never a plane. I say the word sky, and the window becomes a door frame. I don't have the strength to pick up the phone. The book is dead, and I'm dragging its entrails across a continent. I smash the book against my face and weep when I can't read the words. Our longing is our legitimacy. At least, that's what Cecilia told me, documenting the detritus from a summer Creekside performance. Several people die in the writing of this novel, or rather, they died while the novel is being written. I lack a language to communicate. I wish I could tell you the color and breath of a flower. I wish I could explain lavender to you. I make a dark midnight from the sound of my living. I boil water and shed from stress, infinite realities blurring in one. I am 2 centimeters to my left. Nothing comes together and all the archival components fail. I forget what I'm talking to you about. The book stops writing and the dreaming feels further away. I interrupt myself with living. I have visions of bodies on beaches holding flares. It's sunset, but that's not important to me. When the book is not happening, I find lost time trickling in through my wrist. I resist the urge to be specific. I dream the novel upon landing. The novel that was never a novel, but an orchid. The manuscript was always just a hole in the ground. The sun snows until rain overtakes the creek in a flood. I abandon the book, the cover of escape. I make my way sniffing a lilt sky for signs of light. A dim become a bright. The language exhausts itself in the reputation of thinking. Before reading, you should know what I thought of all these words for weeks, and pages, and planes, and places until I could finally open my mouth. But something like flowers comes out. Something like a thick light of lavender milk. I'm dreaming right now. We burrow home into our blood. In the house of your heart, you start a small fire to bring you back. The continent reigns for 10,000 days and nothing ever gets done. The book grows roots in a glass of water. The somnambulist drinks nothing but white light and wine. Grass grows thick in the cottage of your liver, and you try to drown the weeds out with color. You saturate the rhythms of your blood until there is a continuity like veins. You recall becoming a river. You recall swimming against the current until there was no strength left in you, and the river drowned in your memory. You wake up 6 months later to find yourself grieving a site where you paw your marked grave. You read the language but don't understand. You make the gestures but the movement is all wrong. You stop writing. I forgot how to write and give up the book that's being written. Your hand touches a semblance of time. You remember the scent of 3 a.m., locate the ocean within your tongue. I keep writing through exhaustion until I write something else instead. I wake up with a sprig of sun stuck in my lungs. I cough lavender and form visions from the obstruction. I try to remember my dreams, but often I remember a big, black nothing. The lack of image, the unconscious meandering void. It's several days until I am finally able to bring myself back to myself to write anything down. The dream falls through the window and pollen corrupts it. My eyes grow red with heavy light waves. The blood thickens. My lips become dry. Angel Dominguez. Cadiz, Cadiz. To escape the has-beens of used to, does not think of you without you, and with you does not think. Cadiz, Cadiz. To be from here, right where we are, to say we, but mean I, the smell of wind beneath the ocean, where you get over your friends and fall in with strangers, making good on childhood promise. Her heart stopped once while purging. Ambulance! Ambulance! Now she is queen of death pageant. Cadiz, Cadiz. To dream of clean and speak of never. Old man at end of table seeks after copper at bottom of fountain. Cadiz, Cadiz. To disappear. To catch yourself escaping to Paris for sex and money and maybe drugs. To admit you still want to be here, cause if you didn't, you'd be there already. To say fuck poetry and just ride trains in this country. To say fuck Italy, fuck the south of Spain, fuck that entire continent. To want to know Montana in summertime, Providence during torrential downpours, and who's afraid of prison in Fort Benning, Georgia. Cadiz, Cadiz. To travel alone and miss your health like you miss yourself. Before we were taught truth, your body was my body like everybody's. But she still bites herself during intercourse to keep from screaming. Still breaks into tears post-orgasm because she never learned how to say shh. Cadiz, Cadiz. To drink Hera all day and wander still and have absolutely nothing to do with any of this, as the profound rewards only the transformative. Cadiz, Cadiz. To say yes to everything but death. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more. This is the poem from the book that we just put out. It's called How to Draw a Guillotine.
What is it?
It's called Apocrypha. We publish a poetry magazine. Scott read some poems from it earlier. I'm going to read later in the second set. I'll read some more poems from it. And also, we put out books. The investigating homicide detectives find the murder weapon to be the American Congress. Party of death hidden behind chalkboard. Cause of death, the blunt force trauma of inaction. Specter of death, the senator's weak stomachs refuse to clean up the crime scene. Blood-stained walls of the cave. Blood-stained ballots rendered indecipherable. The DNA of another trapped generation hiding under school desks, praying behind candy voting machines. The only thing they will learn today is how little we care about them. Inside the cave is more of a cave than any cave ever was. I woke this morning to the halcyon sound of the guillotine ringing off of American concrete. Shop windows too preoccupied with bracing for impact to blink. Looking around for a dream finally caved in. The bedtime story is the polls close, where we can now project do something, will defeat, remain complicit by a healthy margin. No longer waiting for the chosen bell to ring. The children burning their report cards in mass, guilty verdicts in the hallways of the great slaughterhouse of America, crowns of thorns on fire, sacrificial lambs of night, nothing to be done here. A breakable city, this altar. Muddled veins of a leaf on the ground, the world awake and defanged in mourning. Miscarried metaphors born from the hip, long concealed in caverns of sick, wet ink to the fingertips. Cleft palate of madness, ready to transition away from spectator to spectacle maker, from spontaneous bride of Frankenstein's monster, albatross of supreme annihilation cloaked in sin, stillborn appendages unhinged, unwoven into American fabulous material of never, stitched together, we are famine come to collect. A river of bones in orbit, wake me for the machines that kill without touching the body. May the police who murder you be barred from attacking your casket. May your death be a living body, your funeral a catching of breath. Poppy fields barricade the neighborhood. We shall eulogize you in rivers, erect monuments of sea, your cratered absence a holy ghost of inescapable springtime. And on the hottest day of the year, every student in America will walk out of their classrooms, leaving their teachers hog-tied to the lectern, out into the brutal sunlight of protest, deep into the forest fire of speaking without tongues, chants of we refuse to write this fucking poem anymore. There's nothing to be done here in America, as long as those of us without skin in the game continue to do nothing.
Everyone. Can you hear me? I said hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you. Look at the flower theme. I'm going to read something interspersed with my work. It's from Jane Wong. It's called How Not to Be Afraid of Everything. And she's a dear friend, but she's also a brilliant, brilliant poet. And I just want to celebrate her a little bit today.
You gotta chew on that mic every time.
Yeah, a little louder, please. I put on my fur coat and leave a bit of ankle to show. I take off my shoes and make myself comfortable. I defrost a chicken and chew on the bone. In public, I smile as wide as I can, and everyone shields their eyes from my light. At night, I knock down nests off of telephone poles and feel no regret. I greet spiders rising from the underneath the floorboards one by one. Hello, hello. Outside, the garden roars with ice. I want to shine as bright as a miner's cap in the dirt dark, to glimmer as if washed in fish scales. Instead, I become a balm and salve, my daughter, my son, the cold mice in the garage. Instead, I take the garbage out at midnight. I move furniture away from the wall to find what we hide. I stand in the center of every room and ask, am I the only animal here? When I needed you last winter. Breaker, breaker, this is brown sugar. Something wild inside American analog, only skin between us signifies my extinct backspace puncture. History is now. We paid for our songs. This singular notion of an absolute, acutely aware of being every cell in the body breaks, sporting a name tag with a fancy title, laying here in the same room, just feels like everything. Summer can't tell the difference. 60 settings, let's be young, let's pretend, previous warmth. I mean, I don't mind that we too almost always are the absence of shared experience. And it is here, renovations in the act of remembering, that my body cannot decide whether it wants to live or die. Image, memory, mortality. We will wander around, we will find each other, perhaps okay will be our always, like today is yours, like you are yours, I roar for you. I roar for you, old endings that began, what do we do about that? Cut your teeth on the lack of answers. This is where the light pulls and pulls you in and severance sings. Let's be honest. We've charmed the shit out of the world already. Yes, yes we have. We have charmed the shit out of everyone. Well, in my mind, we can conquer the world. Jungle became a haven, and we are unhinged sodium tremors. A struggle over interpretation woke up to a storm and all this debt. For no reason, my mind gets to rambling, a quivering heart and a pretty dress. How can we ever feel the bottom? Summer is over, and November turns us all in, and we are living way above our means. We were swimming and then just floating there, and there used to be so much happiness. And now happiness is something we have to recreate, and nothing is funny anymore. The past has ruined our entire future. We drink out of jelly jars and call that home. I don't know what sage wisdom is. We are sad and expensive in our blanket-like layers and heritage leather, blood harmony, and some loose glitter. Our empathy gaps, our morning eyes, our winter bones, we all glide through the things that tear us apart. Light artifacts cast a shadow. Your star signs, all your feather things. We have cut each other like broken ankles, like fucking magic. Drum and verse tied up in some other conversation. We no longer know how to dance. Sometimes we cross the river in a dark black wind. I could never tell the difference between a raven and a crow. Yeah, your daddy's just as dark as he can be. I split the rope between my 2 feet. Tin cans in the yard, hot water on the stove, that sad clown lair to hang our pretty things, deciphering forest and dirt. There ain't no devil, there ain't no north. How we lived a century ago, that old basement tape spirit. A talisman of lightness with shovels for beaks and hard hats for crowns. To see the Southern Cross guiding us, our bones against the weather. Gonna show you higher ground. My heart was set on Rothko, Marrakesh dress steel, retro choreography, fabric of being alive. That expectation of oceans never listened to us anyway. We set our boats on fire, so triggered around the past, it seems like we've always been on the water. Wandering blue, electric soaked in rural American love, white Pontiac minstrel show. Money is a kind of poverty too. I'm leaning in and my everything hurts. Sometimes this kick in your belly is just a kick in your belly. In blackface, in red face, remember when the mountain fell like pennies down a wishing well? Put my hands in the water and they disappeared. Domestic sphere, inheritance. All that shit's built on the same story, like a history of how to make it. Native glass burnt on spending those black hills. Our collective lean, Plymouth collection, confessional hymn. We nailed the tempo to our heads. A wound motif. We are overcome by our own testimony. I love you, I love you, I love you. Below is a brief rundown, desert hymnal, who we were and who we thought we'd be. Let me not die while I am still alive. God damn staring back at me. We are laughing so hard now in summer's prettiest lace cathedral, mending wings. I am taking care of myself now, running from the wolves without teeth. Liquor, hematite. We are in survival mode. I see your name on the program to make remarks. Well, shout out the things you know. You are my child. Break the stone, blood-related disorders, deep blood red, and people asking me for poems so we can all feel something, like us almost out of the woods. Meet me by the river one more time. Do you understand what must be done? Something genuinely grand. Breathe, rest, and seep under the skin. You are adding to the flood. Reparative ritual is the other way around. Yes, rage quitting is a thing. And Ornette Coleman is dead, and she just died on me. Can't we just sit together with our grief? Black ribbons in the water, black ribbons in my hair. There ain't no boat, there ain't no train to take us back the way we came. and another one from Jane. If you haven't heard of her and you just like poetry, How Not to Be Afraid of Everything. Help you conquer all your fears. How not to be afraid of everything. How to not punch everyone in the face. How to not protect everyone's eyes from my own punch. I have been practicing my punch for years, loosening my limbs. My jaw unhinged creates a felony I refuse to go to court for. The fat of spam pools in the sun, reminding me of my true feelings. My feelings leak from my ear like a bad cold in a bad storm. Stars huddle in a corner, little radiators sweating out their fear. An opossum reaches his arm up from a porch. I hold on to his arm for a little while, for a little warmth. At night, my subterranean eye begins to rove. Song of the underground, song of the rat tribe. I see my mother in an apron splattered with viscera I will eat for dinner. To gut her work out, to work her guts out. Can we talk about privilege? Can I say I always look behind me? I always look behind me. I always take a step forward like I'm about to save myself from toppling over. The bare bones of it. Some of us know that spoiled meat still counts as protein, that a horse's neck snaps from the weight of what it carries, from the weight of what we give it to carry. I bundle up a sack of clouds, empty of rain and fear and lightning. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to read a Gregory Corso poem. Mutation of the Spirit. These poems all bear the same theme, yet each page is a separate poem. And yet again, each joins up to make a whole poem. And the poems can be shuffled up and read as chance would have it. No one poem comes first or last. Last night, a white apple fell from the loneliest tree in the world. Today the field is green, the sun bright and warm. Children attend their spirits, the old knit, 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 knit. Chicken cries, sacramental sobs from a chapel A window closes. Loneliness, grandeur, and blue lamb's world, eyes rinsed light, swimming deer, and now the long hike back to the city. Smells of rats and pasty poisons, horizons of fuming domes, dynamos, vast six-cent smudge pots, gasping black smoke, cheesecloth faces, dead carts, bells, a white arm. A long pale arm falls across the port. Depression may relinquish all definitions, yet joy shall acquire precise usage. Frenzy may leave terms, phrases, and evacuate basic form, yet soundness shall keep the senses specialized. Imperfection may discredit the odd, the rare, yet shall perfection honor the typical. Blemishes humiliate the outlandish, the unique, the strange, yet excellence extols the orthodox, the natural. Adornment seduces the odious, yet severity restores the lovable. Garnishment mayest ravish the vile, festooning mayest Shanghai the accursed, may seize the nauseating, the foul, the beastly, may rape the unspeakable. Yet shall bareness liberate the estimable. Direction break few, meteorological panic, cloud cover, thermotemperature. I am prepared to believe that drama of sky. Give it clear, I can hear,
It's no longer when will I break through this dream, sudden upon me by questioning life. No longer is it a life unquestioned, did well enough unquestioned. No, the signals are clear, I can hear and I can ask. Who's the man whose snip-snap makes him more than that Mark Madcap? Please, who is he? Tell Wild Salvo, Nintoku, Emperor of Japan, nay. Germanicus, so loved by his soldiers, break, hovers the Visigoth, like a great blonde fuzz moth, o'er the flickering lamp of Rome, out, and darkness is home. Barbs and vandals axed whatever light remained. It was a time of pagan black candles, and they glowed only when it rained. Soggy and despair damp SPQR drenched quaster, woeful omened air, little white gowned rose girl, broken on the spore. O lions, O falcons and snakes, S is axed from P and Q from R is tore. Without Rome, stout men with mastiffs hold justice. My words led a thought through them and saw the back of justice. This is a poem about how Los Angeles sucks, so do with that what you will. This is called New Titular Poem. At least San Francisco is small enough that you have to be honest with your enemies. Star liquors, TV glazers, nosed out of outfits miming blue of auto mechanics, cowboy lily white hands, what a swamp Los Angeles is. Good weather on the shutter, the boat is fame, not output. The finger at war with another finger could not contend with a blowfish. Could not scale a palm tree, never east of Fairfax, or even an overfed goldfish. The sea cage brain dead need Ozempic. When come an earnest king, smite thee who parachute name, march an army down the grapevine in opposition to what is bent between the mountains and the sea. This is called The Poet Ernesto Spray. It's for Max. I have never peed in a coffee can on the mudslide edge of Crescent City. I have never sold a trunk to hitchhike, held off-market AKs, driven to the train by what most of America would consider a special needs. Son of a would-be comrade, slapdash farmer, some people were born in the country. In the long run, Montana Guevara, you don't need a motorcycle. Patagonia is in you. You've seen the sights in asbestos mines in Libya, Yugoslavia. I met Tito in Belgrade on his way from Three Forks up to Crazy Peak, and Tito was you. And I don't mean I wouldn't like you to drink shrimp tea in Sicily, have sex with cinephiles, mobsters alike, court the ghost of Alfred Jarry, guy for octopus with Chandler, FBI diddler, you are not. You sing, flesh-faced nightingale of the Rockies, organize highway motels for the sake of the world, highway motels for the sake of the world, motels for the sake of the world, for the sake of the world, the sake of the world in sand, of the world in sand, in all its vacancy. Joyce Mansour poem. It's called Light as a Shuttle Desire. This is not James Joyce. Why weep on the bald head of boredom, heinous or otherwise, aesthetic reasoner, and you, a la French, I'm an expert in sewing false eyelashes to my eyelids. The agate banishes hate in the paleness of a glance. I know how to weave the shadow that closes the door when love smacks its lips standing in the hallway. Rereading your letters, I think of our walks, the promises of summer lingering at Place Dauphine. Yawning beneath the bells, it's already 5 o'clock. Gone are the kites, the wise cobblestones, the careless dust, the scrambled floor, tiled like a handkerchief, entangled in lascivious... I'm not very good at words. Lascivious glance. The wool piles up on the coat hook. The sluggish night gargles. Handsome mess on my table. Why cry over a banquet of blood? Why rummage between the thighs of the old man? Venice, I'm ready to cover you with my hollyhock tongue, of my soft hedges, ready to chisel my fur, stolen from the shopkeepers. Jump the ditch without petticoats or blinders, to fall, still moist, into your arms of rubbish. Why float? Put on makeup, have fun. Why answer, why run? The memory of your frozen sleep follows me step by step. When can I see you again without shedding tears on myself? Thank you.
Everybody, give it up for top 5 poet you do not want to follow, meaning like read after them. Kevin Dublin.
Here are a couple poems by Marilyn Chin. Blues on Yellow. The canary died in the gold mine. Her dreams got lost in the sea. The canary died in the gold mine. Her dreams got lost in the sea. Her husband, the crow, killed under the railroad. The spokes, half shorn his wings. Something's cooking in Chin's kitchen. 10,000 yellow-bellied sapsuckers baked in a pie. Something's cooking in Chin's kitchen. 10,000 yellow-bellied sapsuckers baked in a pie. Something cooking in Chin's kitchen. Die, die, yellow bird, die, die. Oh, crack an egg on the griddle, yellow will ooze into white. Oh, crack an egg on the griddle, yellow will ooze into white. Run, run, sweet little Puritan, yellow will ooze into white. If you cut my yellow wrists, I'll teach my yellow toes to write. If you cut my yellow wrists, I'll teach my yellow toes to write. If you cut my yellow fists, I'll teach my yellow toes to fight. Do not be afraid to perish, my mother. Buddha's compassion is nigh. Do not be afraid to perish, my mother. Our boat will sail tonight. Your babies will reach the promised land. The stars will be their guide. I am so mellow yellow, Buddha sings in my veins. I am so mellow yellow, Buddha sings in my veins. Oh, take me to the land of the unreborn. There's no life on earth without pain. Sage number 3 for Marilyn Chen. Some say that's for Marilyn. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. Sage number 3, Marilyn Chen. Some say she moved in with her ex-girlfriend in Taiwan. Some say she went to Florida to wrestle alligators. Some say she went to Peach Blossom Spring to drink tea with Dao Shan. Miho says she's living in Calexico with 3 cats and a gerbil named Max. Some say she's just a shadow of the Great Society, a parody of what might have been. Rhea says her stark raving mad between 23rd and the avenues of America, wrapped in a flag. I swear, I saw her floating in a motel pool, topless on a plastic manatee, palms up. What in the hell was she thinking? What is poetry? What are stars? Whence comes the end of suffering? For Charles, also by Marilyn Chen. You have lived 6 decades, and you have lived none. You have loved many, and you have loved no one. You wedded 3 wives, but you lie in your cold bed alone. You sired 4 children, but they cannot forgive you. Knock it emptiness, a house without your love. strike the pine box. No answer. How hollow. You planted plums near the gate, but they bear no fruit. You raise herbs in the veranda, fresh and savory. I cry for you, but no sound wells up in my throat. I sing for you, but my tears have dried in my gullet. Walk the old dog, give the budgies a cold bath, cut a tender melon, let it bleed into memory. The robe you wash hangs like a carcass flayed. The mug you loved is stained with old coffee. Your toothbrush is silent. Grease mums your comb. Something's lost, something's made strong. Around the corner, a new prince yearns to be loved. A turn, a fresh turn of phrase. A badge trophy erased. A random image crafts itself into a poem. A sleepless Taipei night. A mosquito's symphony. Who will cry for you? Me and your sister Colette. Who will cry for you? Me and your Algerian sister. You were a rich man, but you held on to your poverty. You were a poor man who loved gold over dignity. I sit near your body bag and sing you a last song. I sit near your body bag and chant your final sutra. What's your place on earth? Nada, nada, nada. What's our destiny? War, grief, maggots, nada. Arms, cheeks, cock, femur, eyelids, nada. Cow, ox, lamb, vellum, marrow, nada. Vulva, nada. Semen, nada. Ovum, nada. Eternity, nada. Heaven, nada. Void, nada. Birth and death, the same blackened womb. Birth and death, the same white body bag. Detach, we enter the world alone. Detach, we leave the world bone lonely. If we can't believe in God, we must believe in love. 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 We must. And they zip you up in your white body bag. White body bag. White body bag. That's the shoes off poem right there. Mr. Neely Tchaikovsky. For Agneta Falk. Of late, Of late a sun walks over the hill and settles in. Bright light on yellow facades face the workroom. You're singing in Swedish. Clear air whispers an elder song so elderly it defies humanity. We must go. We must go. We need to jump. No choice. You sing in the native tongue. No choice. The sun trickles through dawn's top riggings, aligns wily wings. I imagine you across town, another sun or a part of this one by your window, looking out onto the bay. You've made coffee already. You're smoking a cigarette. The nightingales are somewhere else. All storms overseas. Overseas we travel. We travel through the passage, day by day. Gregory Corso. When Gregory Corso dies, there's a white butterfly in the yard taking notes and talking to the lemon tree in a low and antique voice. When Gregory dies, the piano players take a bow. In the yard next door, on the day of graduation, and a lone piccolo preaches to anyone's passing. He was born in 1930, in time for the Great Depression, and was passed from one strange hand to another. He did not know his mother. I met Gregory on Columbus Avenue with the poet Andy Clausen, the hod carrier. They came to my apartment and I read my Quake Tower poem, in which the tower is a shadow folded over a bed of flowers while the sky leaks and the streets turn into a series of laundries. He had his own Quake poem in a book called Gasoline, an anti-vertiginous tower which struck me as defiance. He may have been one of the last bohemian poets. No MFA, no university job, no job at all except poesy. While he lived and worked, snow fell over his words. Sunlight bore into his poems. Wolves leapt every chance they had when he turned his neck to the skylarks escaping the grip of Shelley, his master, the always young poet who wept for the dead. When Gregory was a demonic Huck Finn, he learned how to proceed along zigzag path. In prison, he was handed poetry and illuminated prose. When he was freed, everything moved poetically. On Greenwich Village, hometown, morning streets, and in the Harvard neighborhoods where he made his first book of poems. When I met Gregory, he was already a famous poet of the Beat generation. He could quote Poe's To Helen and celebrate the agate lamp. Gregory wrote Marriage and Balm. He stole my stereo for drug money. He left baby Max under my care for weeks at a time. He spoke of Francois Villon as if he were a brother, not a medieval poet of the dark Parisian. When Gregory lived, a marching band rises from the garden and assumes control of all that is neat. He kept us writhing for his light. He thought our country oversimplified and found a complete complex of simplicity in a few well-chosen lines. Basin Sutra. I followed Philip Whalen from the Zen Center. Oh my, well, gosh and golly. Folded quilt like sheets, temple bells ring, cleanse your arms, bathe as the basin rolls. Amtrak bellows tossed by junkyard, 20 battered bikes sound nearby states. Hello, sleepers. Oh, those miles. He went up Sourdough Peak with pancake mix and Heraclitus. Buddha bounces. 2 hunters going after the cougar. Beautiful hawk, famous eagle. Mustangs allowed to be wild. The elk standing on the sky. We learn to hold the diamond upright. Amusing smoke rushes over. The rise. Altars plummet. Bones squint. Archives frown. This shithole town. Grocers come out of their caves to witness a fine block of fumes. Gasoline leaks. We never held a revolver up to the authorities of sleep. Nor did we say, this is a cemetery, except beneath breathing eyes. Discrete difficulties are hot coals burning through glamour. They make holes in our thinking, ruin the still life paintings. We're calm participants, though we rave and identify our foe. Our fine procurements go up in smoke. We say, F this and F that. There are kids on the lawn. Until we are lost in lack of meaning. Wayland, I go calmly to the Buddhist center and the days of auto dealerships. The British Empire brought the Bali to our hands. 2, you must toss the cat out the window and let her land on a drawbridge. Braving morning breeze, chipmunks gathering food, let rabbits embrace, we will be surprised. Doesn't everyone's grandmother come from the former Soviet Union and light Friday candles, hands cupped safely above the flames? We know ravens who roost on a stick. Now you fill paper with crows and robin red breasts, occasionally daubing grasshoppers. Words are stored on a magic slate. Early every morning, life rises in winter's variety shop. Here we find Jabberwocky hard at work. Every poem should begin on your fingertip. The very ground of being, volumes of night, miles of gasoline, train track on a forehead, bells ringing over a fence of strawberries. From these doubts rise massive cows, inches of hillside, not an obstruction. Now one carves into the high junipers, as do the priests who belong to the wolf clan. Boyhood as you tear down the decades. Leave a trace of the lake. Let the fox prepare a table. Celebrate clouds surrounded by rare objects. Careful to water plants when multitudes are silenced by starvation. Woo! Woo! This is Sampagita Press. If you know Sampagita Press, this is coming out like next October. Yeah, next month. That's next month. I think it's next month. David Meduli, keep an eye out. You can see it's an art. It's an. This book is an art object. Begin like a violin. All the words. This is 40 side north. From the middle of the intersection, it appears that two sidewalks coverage to a distant point directly in the center of his eyebrows. A lamppost bisects his left pupil, or maybe just a reflection of the mustard sun from windshields of parked cars sinking under his eyelids like metal tears. The only motion is the late model box frame, elongated to a blur from the philtrum. The right earlobe, then gone. A passing thought, unworded, his slight frown reveals no teeth or teleology, only 3 words in lowercase. Old English, he is young, but does not smile as the street looks through him into you. In like Leviathan, past the margins. 41 side south, 6 to 10.
Thanks, everybody, for letting me read here. It's a book I wrote 4 years ago, Songs in September, and it just seemed particularly relevant. My response: these days I wear 2 masks, one for the caper and one for the getaway. Sometimes it doesn't matter whether I'm running towards something or running away from it, but sometimes I just have to take a stand and believe I'm doing the right thing. Love and safety motivate us. We all listen, and when we do, we make the best decisions. Oh, God, one for the caper and one for the getaway. These days, I stay pretty much where I am and don't think about going anywhere. Who needs to go anywhere anyway? Bob called, said he had to get going. Where are you going, Bob? To the beach, he said, where winds and tides wipe away all the marks in the sand, where there are no lasting impressions. Songs of September. Some days you wake up feeling one way or another. Some days are better than others. Some days you master your feet and make it from there to here, where the travesties are less drastic. Some days just moving around in the village seems fine, and some days are just fucking hard. Yesterday was particularly difficult. All those who died from violence or virus or fire shouldn't have. Some days just make no sense. I'm going across the street to help my neighbor whose chicken is running loose. Oh, if that chicken is gone, I will miss her eggs so. These days, we're all so tired of waiting, and dawn goes on too long. Another day should have been here, but isn't. This is all wrong. It's Sunday again, and we've all done what we can do. Bring on Monday, please, and the rest of the week, too. I see you through this cloud of dust. You're wearing a mask and yelling in a crowd. I can't hear you because of the noise, and I can't read your lips behind the cloth on your face. But I know you're right here. It isn't yesterday. Yesterday, fewer were dead. Silence is complicity. Our travesties are drastic. Maybe we aren't paying enough attention. We've made it this far, so who's to say we can't go the distance? Let's just keep a little space between where we are and where we want to be, because travesties persist. and so do tragedies. Your mother called again, said Beirut is burning. What are we supposed to do now? Bury the dead, I suppose. Put them where they won't be found. Put the remnants where they belong and move the fuck along. Get on with it. This isn't like yesterday. Yesterday, fewer were dead. These days, sometimes all the news is nonsense, and it adds up to nothing, and I wonder, what would we be doing otherwise? Today was a day like others, except that it wasn't. Today was like none other. All that we can think of and everything we can just happened. We won some, we lost plenty, and nobody can really keep score. The dead are here, they're there, the dead are everywhere, and we just keep wishing in the end it isn't. I wish the wind blowing through these trees was the only sound we heard, and that its gentle, loving harbored no maleficence. Oh God, one for the caper. These days our eyes are full of ash and grit and dust and grief. We need tears, the cleaners to moisten our hard-boiled eyes. Oh, Ashen Wednesday, the sky is lighter tonight at 9 than it was at noon, and who knew these days could be so dark? Thinking back on it, we all should have known to double lock the back gate so that that chicken couldn't get out. But maybe we missed the clues. Maybe we ignored the obvious and ended up here in the night that's lighter than midday. I watched that chicken's print disappear in an incoming tide and think we might just get out alive. But love is buggy. There's so many errors in that code. We have to be ready to clean up the mess before the problem's even identified. Make sure that it doesn't happen again. This is soft October after all, when we expect nothing but the coming months and the program to just work. How's Bob? He's doing okay, I guess. I hear he still winds up his hose when he's finished watering. Bob's pretty good. Light shine or they don't, and the porch is either lit or it isn't. We find a way through darkness, or we just go on looking in the dark. We make our way to bed or wake up someplace else. But tonight, the tables we've turned are either truths or fictions. Truths land us in bed with our loves and animals. Fictions strand us naked in bramble and rose. I've done my research. I studied and thought about what it takes to get from here to over there, and I know the difference between truth and fictions. I know the difference between a soft mattress and a bed of thorns. Tomorrow, we'll all wake up wherever we do. We will have gone to bed there. We'll notice what's the same, take note of what's different, and wonder what's changed. Tonight, we'll make our way home across the noise and nonsense, through thickets and bramble, and lay in bed with our love and animals. We won't stir or misbehave, so we can all just sleep through the night and not question or worry or wonder. Tonight, we'll just ride it out and wake up tomorrow knowing exactly where we want to sleep. Tomorrow, light will slip through cracks in the walls and shine into the scurrying darkness. Tomorrow, we'll move the mountains of fear into the valleys of hope. short poem. It's more of a story. What I wear a mask for. This is called the Washoe House Caper. The Washoe House is a stop on the stagecoach route between Petaluma, Santa Rosa, and Bodega Bay. It's a magnificent L-shaped two-story redwood building built in 1859 that serviced the coaches on those roads. There's a bar, a kitchen, and dining rooms on the first floor, and rooms and washrooms on the second. Stagecoach folk and cowboys stopped in for a rest, a meal, drinks, or a lie down upstairs in the washrooms before they went on their way. And before they left, many tacked a bill to the ceiling. And over the years, thousands of bills were tacked up on that ceiling. And when the ceiling was full, they tacked bills to the walls and the stairwells. There was a time when the Petaluma Southerners and the Santa Rosa Northerners converged at the house, all wanting the bills. They ended up the day drinking together and vowing to leave all the bills alone forever. Some time ago, a company bought the Washoe House and everything in it, and they managed to muscle Ben into selling, though nobody really knows how. They raised the prices, kicked out the locals, and enforced a strict dress code. The whole place changed, except for the bills. Two by Roy and Dirty Gert's heavy metal Lee Hazelwood cover band, Hardwood, always played at the house. When they came back that fall to play, the company told them things had changed and they were no longer welcome. What happened to old Ben, Two-By asked. We bought him out and now we own everything. Huh, everything? There were few who want to talk about it, but those who do say it happened pretty quick. One September, the band walked in on a slow Wednesday night, closed and locked the doors, and Gert said to the 8 patrons in the dining room and the 2 in the kitchen, "We're in charge now. You can all go home and we'll see you in the morning." Two-By, Gert, and Roy stood on chairs, the bar, and the stairwells and collected $256,988. They put it in a satchel and delivered it to Ben, who bought the place back the next day. Thank you very much.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you, everyone, for reading. This is just a lyric, and I thought I would give it to you because it felt right. What an end to a generation, raised on the hope that peace will come. We felt a moment in history when we saw what could be done. Aretha, she gave us the music of righteousness. Seeger sang the story of rebellion. Dylan saw us for who we really were, all tangled up in blue. Then we learned all this too must pass. With a lump in our throats, we sang songs of peace. We joined together in resistance, singing, "I shall be released." Well, we lost plenty of elections. There's no reason to leave the fight. Stepping up to spread the truth, saying what we knew was right. What a way to end our generation. Raised to belief that peace will come. Things get so much harder when you lose a battle you thought you won. Thank you.
Well, Nelson, Mr. Chairman wrote the songs here. Without him, we have no show.
An Afternoon in the Cafe Trieste by Neely Tchaikovsky. Son of Moon, Come Out of Moab. Playing a banjo and supporting a bottle of red wine from the vineyards guarded by the Hebrew prophets. Do not be fooled, dear boy. Be light with love and drink with sober resolve. Son of Moon, you are stranded for many decades until the earth around you grows feeble. Do you bother the aged rock musician chain-smoking by the news kiosk? He's not dead, but the music is a distant rumble. Oh, Moon Boy, join the coffeehouse gang. Giggle. Prophesy. Bleed like an Indian under intense heat. Pray as though you were a Talmudic scholar, given to untested grammar. Scream for irreverent wolves decimated. Oh, son of Adam, take a seat on the bus rushing down the highway. Try for sanity. Unlock your ceremonious vision of Utah in the crossfire. Charred ground, Byzantine daydreams shorn of sight. Oh, moonchild, pay attention to laughter from distant space. Go for the goblet of time. Pay the bus driver and lean against wayward land. Mark hillsides. Mark narrow canyons. Pry open the monstrous lies of the open road and the electric grid. Neely Tchaikovsky. Because in purple I descended the western day. Through what you called the loneliest air, not less was I myself. What was the ointment sprinkled on my beard? What were the hymns that buzzed in my ears? What was the sea whose tide swept through me there? Out of my mind and the golden ointment rained, and my ears made the blowing hymns they heard. I was myself the compass of that very sea. I was the world in which I walked, and what I saw or heard or felt came not but from myself. And there I felt myself more truly and more strange. Cause by Jack Hirschman. It's all the cat's meow, the crass and the hand dibbles, all hanging out round there, then the room of the da of who we were and who we will be, fest-mongering fressers. Alexander knocks, Baza opens, so time is janked, scintilled, then goes brackish, soft mood, left you, so what? We did 12 in a hurry. Bound the number, we ain't permutable, this sang and taunts, tintanata, nobody's Sara, but the Lord's good too, brothers blue and green, oh, heathers, leathers of the smitten bop. Parker, what was laid out in the laird, the law do? Angola, she can stand, not being stooded, piping it, it's the picture blazed. Who teach who? Who teach who? This was oligarchies. This was moonshining. Beginning another in-groove, lipped the kiss twice across the weaveways. That to be continued. Intuity, calamari chopsticked up on the clacked klaxonics. What the two-fingered hanged out down Roos loop lip lapella, the trumpet swills, the fashion fat schismos, the dibbles in the wood, the squelch welch on cue. glory. See what she contra nature, against nature's most glare, the Blair neons, the bare-faced fooks, the rice-dabbled losers, the woozy blues, then 10, then 2, then 12's mustachioed bonboons, tyrannic ironies empowered, slowly by the tipple sun, sweet afternoon, the jollied, jeweled softness, clear air on the seas where we walk together, ever my friend, my long-distance brother, who took and takes and better grow in the clearing wood, the fifth, how it was fluted and brooded, how we decided and rolled, and the flags and the colors of the games dreamed by us, from the muscles of the tendons of the heart, waving clear, and the night pennants wrapping the lovers and the fine arts of their minds. Jack Hirschman.
Thank you, Scott. So I'm going to do a little tune here with the whole band. We got everybody. Anthony Ty on the piano, Dean, and then melodica Jerry from the open piano this time. Wow, look at this guy. And we have Kitty the Keys and George Long, obviously, always with us. Okay. Here we go. George is here. Let me see. Build the ark, get a canoe, a kayak, unfurl the sails, engines on. This watery world is drowning and is on fire and sinking and erupting. Lava flows like chocolate, waves crash with vindictiveness. Sharks go about galloping, swallowing whales, and at the gates the Titans left us. Olympus collapsed. It is the end. The hordes are rioting and eating our cats and dogs. 20 million criminal immigrants are at the door. I just added that. Trees rot, forests burn, mountains shake, glaciers melt, incest prevail, thieves rule. The circus left town and took the dwarfs with them, took them all, the bearded lady, the jointed twins, the giant and the panther, nothing left but the excrement of the cages. The train wagons full of manure, this planet. It is the end. It hails and it rains and it's sunny and it's windy and it's cloudy, all in a single hour. In a day, whole species vanish. In a month, countries disappear. Moths and pandas and giraffes and frogs, crickets and gazelles, wolves, porcupine, rats, all to the oven for supper. There is hunger and cold and ice, and no one understands why. or how, and so suddenly people are lost. Mothers pray, men fight, athletes compete. This craziness has reached new heights. Volunteers needed to commit suicide. Articles of impeachment to every human being. What a coincidence. The rose has no more scent. Just when I thought there's a chance. What is the use of any of this? Music, art, poetry, diapers, food poisoning, a good retirement plan, registering to vote. It is the end. He has been for a while now. Just we were not paying attention. Busy making babies and going shopping and getting a deal of car insurance and visiting the dentist. If I just knew. Take it over, finish it up.
Nadia Williams, your flight is now boarding. Last call for Nadia Williams. How to leave San Francisco for New York City. First, start talking incessantly about this magical place that is SF pre.com boom meets post-war West Berlin before the wall came down, called Portland, Oregon. Shave your mustache in protest. Don't actually move to Portland, just talk about it. Finish college, then quit that bar gig you consistently complain about to hide how finally happy you can't even imagine you are. Buy a banjo or a typewriter. Get a girlfriend who likes dogs. Get a dog. Then sell your banjo or your typewriter and help pay for a U-Haul. After quitting said bar gig, you can finally start sleeping with the cocktail waitress who's been eye-fucking you from behind a bottle of old Overholtz for 6 months now. Give up smoking good weed. Start purchasing Second Testament marijuana, one overpriced nug at a time from Simon Peter the Rock at Golden Gate Park. Before you leave, now yourself to death. Before you leave, be sure to sleep with all your best friends' girlfriends, past, present, future. Before you leave, actually move to that farm in Marin. That way, nobody in Manhattan will have to listen to you bitch about how one day you're going to tell civilization to go up your ass by settling down in a cattle ranch 1 mile from the ocean because you can't handle cities, can't handle white people, can't handle capital, can't handle yourself. Paint all the mud around you a different color. If you're any good, no one will know it's mud. Admit that you're a shitty secret keeper, except from yourself, and that making a lot of money at some point in your lifetime is an imperative you will never get over. Start self-publishing. Start wearing a cardboard sign around your neck that reads, "Buy, buy, buy my book, book, book." Start writing poems in Pidgin. Don't order Manhattans anymore. Before you leave, act like the artists and poets you know suddenly exist again. Don't get too attached to how drunk you are capable of. Pretend you don't like poets because they're always the same. Start rumors about them and how they like to keep their penises in plastic bathtubs. Stop writing poetry altogether. All the successful writers used to be poets before they wanted to be successful. Many of them used to leave here too. From now on, sucker punch anyone who says, Before you can write, you have to live. Before they can finish the fucking sentence. Living is the opposite of writing. To write like to die is to stop thinking. It requires a certain terrified confidence. Publish your body in time. Sell rights to sexy somnambulist Swedes. Start writing haikus about jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. If poetry is the ability to feign the truth when everyone thinks you telling lies, try lying outright. Send an email to a few of your friends that simply states, I'm jumping. Don't actually jump. Just move to New York, bare for own everything, only to forget it forever. After you arrive in New York, turn on. Stop sleeping. Kiss voluntary insomnia hello. She is a living and breathing child. As soon as you get there, reaffirm the taboos you weren't allowed to confide in before leaving. As soon as you get there, find a master. Toil up early in the morning and late into the night. Find yourself perpetually in search of shade on Mars. Brooklyn is Baghdad on Billie Holiday in France. Stop lending books to one-night stands. Enroll in the University of Poking Around in the Dark. Learn to make love to train wrecks. Lose all interest in monogamy. Literally, not categorically. Lose all interest in was. And not out of love, but as a product of resentment. Once settled, stop replying to the drunken cocktail napkin scribblings your paranoid barfly college dropout friend sends you in the mail. Keep them in a pile in the corner of your bedroom. And if he ever comes over to dry out, whatever you do, don't let him read them. The words we never entertain are mere eyelash curtains. Go blind rather than create sober. Once you reach the hole, make passionately forbidden acts of love to mouth terrorists. Sing requiems to your self-loathing. Hide pictures of little boy you amongst the termite debris that came before, a collection of soiled pacifiers used to commit original sin again. Find yourself freezing to death on the corner of Bowery and Heatwave. In case of emergency, do nothing like you have ever been until instructed otherwise. Don't listen to California sex whispering in my ears. Give in to the impossibility of I and admit that you are your teeth gnawing away at the missing bars. Bad poem for Names of the Dead. I've never been to Frostburg, Maryland, but I've been raving mad. Tilting at Windmills. The name of the lone coyote on Angel Island, who the locals claim must have swam there in the spring or summer of 2017, is Quixote. That's right. Quixote the coyote. I quit smoking once, but got fat. So now, if I die, at least I'll be pretty, said the few teeth left to the missing ones. This is Kim Adonicio. My friend Evan is gone, but this poem means the world to me and a lot of people here. This poem is from, this is an English collection, so I actually don't know what book it's in. Shit. Actually, I can't tell you what book it's in. Sorry. This is a collected poems. I think it's old. One night stand. Those men I fucked when I was drunk, I can't even see their faces anymore, or the shape of their hands, hard bones of their hips knocking against me, curve of an ass or shoulder, whatever I tasted as they slid over me, nameless, whatever words they tongued into me, I don't have them. What I have are the bars I met them in, the sweat of a glass of beer, the dense granules of red or blue light sifting toward me, sharp swell of music, and a voice saying, hey, let's get the fuck out of here. We always went to a place I'd never be able to find again, even if I bothered to look. There are people we're meant to lose, moments that just rinse off. And there are still nights I lie awake with the pulse, the throb that says, let's go somewhere and watch the moon rise. Over 3 rows of bottles in a cash register. Let somebody else pay. Ask for a cigarette and the fire to light it. Burn a few hours. Show me you love me that much. This is a poetry magazine we published called Apocrypha. This is a poet I'm obsessed with called Josiah Luis Alderete. I'm not going to pronounce the title super well. Nemontemi. How many of the last 5 days can you remember? How many of the last 5 days can you forget? Did you miss your bar train? Did you see it rain last night, but only over a spot where the Azul man was shot? Did you manage to lick the tumor off the talking gato's tongue? Did you enjoy a mentira that did not belong to you? Did you mispronounce the borrowed palabras enough that they got stuck in your throat? Did you swallow the parts of la tierra that the abuelas told you to swallow? Are any of your fingers missing? Did you find any of your colimas in someone else's boca? Did you hear the obscenities coming from El Cometa del Cielo? Did you find chotel that is going to get you across the river from the can? Did the ventanas open to your lado flaco? Did you swallow obsidian? Did you stare deeply into it first? Did you believe the Mooney-stop superstition? Did you move out of the way of the monstro coming up 16th Street? Did the taste of sangre remind you of home? Did the murmurations of a bird make you sneeze? How many of the last 5 days can you remember? How many of the last 5 days can you forget? The riot that wasn't. Street signs renamed after street poets hang involuntary like Melpomene. Windows unbroken, we linger jagged and wet, bone weary of failing to find humor in the roll call of the dead. Truth is, there never was both sides. Ceaseless cause, endless night, locusts struggle for morning, necks broken under the heel of a divide ever widening. You know, we had to rename this neighborhood. An acrimonious acronym for Feel Safe Now. Pestilence and boils, thunderstorms of hail and fire of fish, the frog's eyes, the first plague in search of happy hour and cheap rent, turning water into blood, gray matter into mud. You know, it's a bring your own bulldozer party. Free drinks for anyone willing to prove just how willingly unfree we've become. Instant oblivion, drug-induced or otherwise, or we can trade in our white guilt for 2 all-expense-paid tickets on Colonial Cruise Line. All aboard the USS Puppet is the master. Well, no one's seen the sun in days. DJ settles for death, leading incantations out into the alleyway. Dance yourself free, he says, as if forgetfulness wasn't a crime, as if hypocrisy wasn't the lifeblood of the nation. Our collective will, predetermined by some shadow board of post-war pandemonia apologists. Stop asking. What else can we do? Rhetorically, let our people go is not a complicated demand. There are no seasons in hell. Even down here you are unwanted. An immortal burden of time, a sacrificial vector. The devil himself annoyed by the mere thought of your presence. Demons whispering behind curtains. You know, things were so much better here before the earth gave up on you. Far-flung, eternally banished below, guilty of autoerotic animal of magnetism, the serpent of sex devouring silence. If I hold your hand through this tunnel, will you promise not to look back? We are a cave of projected newspaper headlines. Cattle called to the slaughterhouse of dreams, a waking nightmare of rib cages broken open to let a little sunshine in. Two-way mirrors where we only see ourselves from a distance. Just past the point of recognition, the curtains pull back and it's all hot air and no balloon. the phantom limbs of lies told outright and uncompelled. We are neither radically free nor remotely responsible for what comes next. A silhouette of ghosts pirouetting in unnamed fog, unable to place which side of the mountain we're on. We know only one thing is certain. There is no going back. Even the slightest accidental glance would rip you right off this world, set us swinging backwards in an unbroken sea. We are the black and white glow of neutered soul. Involuntary castration of the heart, yes, it still bleeds, but can it love? Can it sing? Each generation burns the previous one's temples to the ground. Just as every eon before them, newness shall reign supreme. The old doctrines erased and replaced by an open and blank stage. Everything has led to this. Dear child, you are what we always wanted. Perpetually we await the dawn of your epoch to obliterate what we failed to destroy. Manifesto for the southeast-facing window, for Lawrence, Jack, and Diane. We, the dutiful daughters and solitary sons of St. Francis, refuse to participate in this vapid war of attrition against us. Our platform is simple: clean water, euthanize all landlords, and raise Moloch from the dead. Never mind that 20-volume suicide note nailed to the cathedral fence. Our change of heart happened not by chance, but simultaneously with the door slamming against you on your way out. Once the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have occupied City Hall, all police stations shall be razed to the ground. Every prison, jail, classroom, and office building shall be liberated. All false prophets rescinded. All phonies deported. The sole duty of the police will be to perform bad poetry at children's birthday parties. The mayor shall sleep in the street until every resident of her city is housed. Representative Wiener will publicly apologize for being clandestine monarch of real estate, death corp, and a real nihilist piece of shit. The school board shall host mid-90s raves on Alcatraz, where La Mantilla bless LSD Eucharist will be disseminated. City council shall be locked in Coit Tower until a plan to return all stolen land back to the Ohlone has been ratified. There will be 10 years of spring in California. There will be typewriters in every street corner, soup kitchens in every ballpark, and free Avant Garden cinema in every BART station. Each new resident will be given a cat, 3 Baumkopf poems, and a lifetime supply of paint. If the residents of specific whites won't stop pretending it's winter, they shall be blindfolded and made to wander through the hypocrisy labyrinths of their own making. If you happen to find this new reordering of the world to be more than you can stomach, there will be bombed-out Bolinas-bound Volkswagens leaving Market Street every hour on the hour. Karen will personally ferry all vampires, Zionists, and closet capitalists back across the river. There will be a new rebirth of wandering the streets. Lerner's ghost will lead a second line down an avenue formerly known as Columbus. This city is Caesarean bound, a cause-filled joyful noise that no effect can silence. What was blood thrown down from umbilical cloud, aborted greed, nightmare of usefulness is past. Long gone are the days when the depths of this city shall be measured by what it can outgross, out-cubicle, out-feign, brutal and inexhaustible love shall be our ruler henceforth, measured only by what we can lay bare, a sanctuary of strange. We are the city we deserve, steep and untamable. We say heartbreakingly beautiful because something is broken. The isolated slivers of was, that infinite allure that brought each of us here, shall persist as long as there's a window to look out from and wonder.
When I am lonely and go for a walk, I see everywhere the same autumnal dusk. The monk rising, as translated by King Churchill. Devora Major. She say she don't like me. Say she don't like the color of my mom. Say she don't like my pop cause he think he know it all. Don't like my brother cause he think he fine. Don't like my man cause he dumb enough to go for me. Don't like my kids cause they look like me. She say she don't like me. Don't like me. Don't like me. Don't like me. Say she don't even have to know my name to know she don't like me. Another origin. I come from a place where memory slips as easily as fingers across a silk dreadlock head wrap. I come from loblolly pines lining the highway, from the taste of smoke, even when you don't eat meat. I come from train whistles, routine rumble shaking human bedroom between evening Junebug songs. A radio tune to Foxy 107, 104. Gray fox, fox squirrel, flying squirrel, white-tailed deer, they call this land home. Land green with grasses, with cotton and tobacco fields ancestors would work. In gold and mud they will walk across as much as they would swim in. The noose, a river that young people once tended the noose. A river my father learned to swim in his youth. As much of what he barely escaped. The noose. Now polluted with decades of hog waste. Thousands of nitrogen-sick fish sunbathe along shores. I come from the earth. Like seedlings, radical work to claim September sun and say, this is my light. Have you ever seen a yellow daffodil open up? I come from exodus and bloom, from searching for the difference between to heal and to cure. I can do that, actually. You can also just do this. From a 40-year-old pregnant after another miscarriage. From neurodivergence and beginnings anew. From the kunk of skateboard wheels on sidewalk cracks on Wilmington nights and afternoons. Head bobbing between headlights. Behind shrubs. I come from the Mars dust-tone gleam of a street drummer's skin in the sun. From the pattern in a mother's skirt. As she leads her toddler to dance to the beat on Market Street. I come from a nod to every black man I pass from Van Ness Avenue to sit in San Francisco to Telegraph Ave and 18th Street, the Cafe Van Cleef in Oakland. From a year of pandemic growth, untwisted to locks fit together 10 years, which begin with Miss Angie, Oakland's finest loctician, and Ann in hands that first braided in synagogue. I come from laughter and long embraces from aunties, from the rustle of a few dollars from a suit pocket, into the collection plate as you brought me from a mighty long way, tenderly escapes the mouths of the alto section choir. From look to your neighbor and say, neighbor. I said, look to your neighbor and say, neighbor. He brought me.
Yes, go ahead, applause. Yeah. What's wrong?
One, two. Final colors of her new life. For Ife, Ifeanyi, Chukwu, Ngala. Amen. We have bodies that know what it means to feel seasons change. Thursday's tire tracks grooved into sand as night disintegrates into dawn. Morning short and stretched hammock, hungry for more hours. The day is starving. I come out of silence pushed only by the tangerine calls of California scrub jay. In Pioneer Town, America's promise, ice tossed at the feet of two Joshua trees, their root systems thirst and wait. The golden crowned sparrow glides between these trees, twice settles on the ground beneath them as I write. The air warms with ancestors. A plump chuckwalla basks in their light on a rock as I write. I'm not a body. I have a body carried on the breeze as I write. My ancestors and yours on the skin. I thank them like wild poppies bloom as I write. I know a cousin is covering me now, as sure as I am that my mother was in last night's moonlight as I write. A man I have never met toasts my sideburns, and I turn my cheek towards the trunk of a tree as I write. I remember a laugh with a woman from Ghana. Branches greet spider's web in the wind as I write. A woman, your close kin, who loves you deeply, glimmers in the heat haze as I write. The fear of death is still only another worry of exile as I write. Someone brings first sweat to my scalp, cools me down, balmy allowance like the reptiles as I write. The the truth. People living in the street isn't a democracy. As I write, no one dies from lack of health care. Afros all picked out freely with no picks. As I write, my father, a sparrow's talons wrap round leaves of yucca plant to hold steady and sing upwards. As I write, survival, a kind of sunrise, childhood, a faith we outgrow. As I write, clear as the air I breathe, curve wings of Vox swift flock, all upturned. As I write, forever and ever, Ashe.
I want something other than time. I want to feel okay right here. I want to say I'm not wasted in the choppy paint of thinks itself, and a dreamy obedience to the music precedes me. As I've said before, a dream might not be built of representation. So cheap a ransom where the accident is almost repeated is an interior plane of expiring breath, hello, and then let go. I think the devil's in going back to a withheld meaning and letting its deferred presence prescribe a place we'll never get to. We're assuming then that this is one of them special clovers, abandoned like all things here, to the hype of liberation. Oh, mortar, get me higher. The loud voice goes. Move away from the shore. It's Louis Friedman, y'all. It starts from what you don't know. You love the white, too, just because it's white. A thing to stand in front of fear. But what I sent doesn't talk about the call. We can't help explaining at the thinness of our skin. I beat myself up. I fly around in circles. You're just fucking up the situations. Nothing so sad as someone else's shoes. But still, we had miles to go before we slept. Miles to go. See, cracking bones make noise. See, you're doing it without me. What was it, that burning, that endless insufficiency? I remember seeing horses. As a person, you can feel, and there is a certain humiliation attached to this. Call it what you will. Taking all that's left and making a parachute strapped to my chest. It's still no way to behave, but everything that rises must. Say it. Say it. Ballast. So I will hold my own hand. Look at your hands in the shape of a tree branch. Body steering the mind out of the way. The force compels the character, makes a zero of things, leaves behind fragments trumpeting into an empty drain. You see that split between atoms? Say I'm bleeding on my own body, but I can't speak outside the things I mean. I mean, this place has failed us. states have a history. You gather something, you leave something you've been hauling with you behind. It is hard to stumble across a fictitious version of yourself, confusing the movement with the dancing. Of course you love the monsters. How the sky turned white, how everybody froze. I suffer mornings most of all, relying on signals for comfort. But I like the sound of that word, kite. We look up to discard the weight. Bodies dream of themselves. The accumulation is undeniable. Disorder, the mess, the non-resolutions. Those remains in place of my image. You might start with meaning and end up with frequencies. The little piece that came out, but not so little. Maybe only because the dissonance feels more accurate, the shape we desire changes, along with the need to bury things alive. The past seeping in and seeping in forms as silent observers. That dirty, fallow feeling, it draws you in. Hopefully, it stays with you. Everything very, very angular and small. But you see the ebb and flow wants to knock you out of your complacency. Means to an end that refuses you. Thing. Significance. Thing. And so I imagine my image, lines, and eventually shape, the lines we make up, the mere act of willing to go to pieces. We watch all this emerging. You suspect it yourself. If you had cared more, you would have remembered. If you help me live through this, maybe you can stay. But you can only write about what's inside of you. The burning in your mouth, why it's suddenly so hard to breathe, why a quilt of paper, a nest alive with words. My mouth not spoken by me. Memory resolves to nothing but what's upon us. Like the men we used to be. Baling wire and duct tape. A sort of fissure left standing there. The way the sun has coppered our faces. Like specters, like pilot flames. Every now and then, we all just wait for a minute for things to draw near. I put my wrist in, a little ghost to lick your palm. These lines of thought fracture, these which I repeat back. I say them quietly back to you. Lately, I've caught myself feeling this is a fairy tale. Better get my shit together, better gather my shit. Let the ground know who's standing on it. You're in this condition of doubt. You have to throw the right way or you have to let go. You shouldn't be trying to juggle your own fire all the time. Such collapsing bleeds under the skin. The body is akin to the conspiracy, but because it cannot be rational, this makes it clear it does not matter. Time stops, and you are reminded that human relationships can be both simple and unsolvable. The sickness inherent in representation. Here, have my arm. We go into these things totally blind. An empty page feeling helped by geography. We stop walking. We are taking that walk. This thing that's like touching except you don't touch. 1 foot and 1 foot and whatever else this place isn't. I realize myself doing these things, calling it memory. You probably don't even have to imagine. Chances are you've experienced some degree of reversal yourself. Spinning plates to square every process. The room in which a death. We rest on forms assumed. You're going to have to scream that it hurts. Thank you.
All right, I got 2. This first one is a Mario Santiago Papisquierdo poem. It's a Mexican poet from Mexico City, immortalized in Roberto Bolaño's Savage Detectives as the character Ulysses Lima. This is called, Did You Notice How the Sign Doesn't Look Us in the Eye Anymore, and how they filled the Gare de Lyon with propaganda offering money for the capture of the Bader-Meinhof group. I embraced my next suicide as my sharpest poem, my consummate poem, and the Kennecourt and Valium 10 seats of one cut-rate movie house at Barb's and Roccacourt, kissing with rabid white rat kisses, Daisy's flowering thighs, mistress and queen of my laughter, and I embrace her. I embrace her as one lush embraces his rotten liver, or one exile from the Communist Party embraces the voice that screamed, "To hell with Marx, he's washed in the piss of utopia." And if they think the Bogart's film's damaged or washed out, or the magic flute of hash can't quite cover the swollen, bulging galleon of my lungs in Spanish doubloons, what heroic act, what Keaton-esque face will be left to us, but the one where we cataletta, lepidically, Luciferianistically, thank you, Mario, position ourselves like corpses on the salt back of one imaginary railroad, and there, from that position, from that enclosure, walk our least gnarled paw across the least melted spotlight of our eyes, until we can't tell the hairs on our head from the hair on our balls, the eruptions of Mount Venus from the lava of the vigilant mind, while we sing on empty stomachs one euphoric, thick, hot cocoa of a tune. There's no future, and plunge to the bottom. Wells, divers, gold diggers, foragers, for what? And this is called If Only in Combat. Endless rain, fall on my heart. Let me forget all of the hate, all of the sadness. 1. If only in combat I find love, said Proust to the goose, to his taxidermic goose plus polyester pillow fellow. Wallow, swallow, getting caught in the verses of the Dr. Zeus. Never said I want to smoke in slippers. I got him beat. And I know I got him, baby, I do. I'll wear any dress as fantasy. I want the stars from the 16th or any century. I'll bully Cicero, and I won't even mention you. Scars are a jelly abalone on your skin. It's in your mind. Listen, man, Toucan Sam. It rakes my spirit like leaves or acorns, or an anteater crossing America with an undid Band-Aid. A sunburnt Muppets wondering how long their cigarettes will take to reach the ocean. What am I? I've never been a rocket surgeon. I'm not the tomfoolery of teeth. Things can mean so much. That bread was boiled in Versailles. Don't give me a potato headache, please, and don't get me started on Japan. 2. Like guns, roses, plus seppuku, if Axel went like Yukio, I am constantly courting cats. And the bomb dropped and Japan examined fandom at its most takeaway best, pumped up, sucked down by the USA, I spend 10 minutes 10 times in a row with videos. Hide in yellow tuxedos. Hide in pink hair. Hide, you glorious mopey dancer, you. Hide, you silly fag, I love you. 3. I consider the bomb, fame a nuclear fallout, and we can't ever hear you sing. Our big hit, your big hit, we know it's beautiful. It lands like a Planet Earth TV show. 4. But who knew the tortoise a dandy? They all know the words, wave their hands in you. Bad taste in suits, didn't have the guts to say, I'm sorry, and I do. Someone should have told you. Johnny says we can see all the good and the evil in the world in Japan, and I got a cat at my ankles now. Maybe I will call her Hide. She'll always be prepared for the worst. 5. Hide, what am I? A stalagmite, always right, a brain injury poem. What am I? A self-serving head sore, a processed amygdala. When I shower, the rain seeps through my noggin to my mouth, mucking up my words. Who am I to think of fame, of nature like this? I'd like to consider my literary fagin stance, or zits on yours and my chin, dance on tiptoes and intellectual schism. I lay my head on feather and that's it, Hide and me, jabber romanticism, till the eagles, the birds, the toucans come home to roost. And eat the fish, the French, the lay-in-bed kind. Don't forget that I truly love you. That's Japanese, for that's all, folks. And I got one really short one. I should have been a cow. Still, I'd be a difficult cow. Difficult flies would fly around difficult hooves. Wind would whine, but I'd stay still. Rain would fall, but I'd be still. But time would pass, and I'd not stay put. The grass I'd eat, but I'd be sad. So maybe I should not have been a cow at all. But oh, cows look peaceful in still pain. Better understand the flies and wind. Just close their eyes, never bothered by rain. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to end it with just a little bit more. We're going to get the whole band together. Thank you all for coming out. Please enjoy the rest of the week at Flower Piano. It goes till next Sunday. There will be a poetry reading on Wednesday at this very same time in this very same place. And then another one on Friday. And then we will have, of course, the weekend programming. So please join us for the rest of the week. Big bravo to all the poets, Jack Nancy, Andrew Paul Nelson, Erica Lewis, Kevin Dublin. Thank you to everybody. Here we go. Three decades into life, never not having known a time of war. My child stirs in a bloody froth at night. His fever cries pang me from a dream, the symbol of yearning, more than a vapor of my mind. 3 decades into life, steeped in the tea time of the golfing class of the universe. Their war minds putting robbed me of a would-be womb. Smashed dear Luca's unrealized cradle as if it were a fumble with their clubs. Decades unceasing from the scene, from the unseen, from the terrorists that haunted us to transact free in the pox-ridden blanket called security. My child was gone, my belly a scooped-out womb. Now uprising, Johnson in the simulacra of men becomes like Hitler and Stalin in his work of fame, with his planes rolling out over Guam, over Asia, all America becoming a sea of toiling men, stirred at his will with the bloated thing. Draws me out from the underbelly of a nation, with its blood dreams swells the idiot's psyche.
Out of its courses, this elemental thing, the name stinks with burning meat and heaped up bones. Men wake when they're applauded like a Texas barbecue. Asia, Africa, all the Americas on grill. They use them for Hitler, for losing control of their business of war. Like mania, the ravening eagle of America swirls over the tide. Children in agony. The tortured men fly with their napalm, losing their flow below the jungles of war and all destruction of communal things, of communion, of communism. Their hatred of communism prevails. He rises over a private room of small town bosses and businessmen. Of scene, atomic stockpile, vials of synthesized disease, eager biologists, cocktail parties, pass with a happy good day on the way to class or work. They have worked far too long to make war too terrible for men to wage. They have raised this secret entity of hatred for the alien world about him. It might have been paradise, might have been Indian trees, the specter beginning at Adams and Jefferson fell. In a black vial of blood, as Satan's eyes spills over them. 3 decades unceasing. My child's name now a brooch tattooed on the spleen of angst. When I call his name, I only hear fingers of light. Thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of the... On a lighter note, the festival continues.
Thank you for coming.